G'day again, NotJah Witness here, and today I want to go into a few more questions about the Jehovah's Witnesses from my comments section. So let's jump straight into it. When witnesses speak of a community, are they referring to themselves as a worldwide community of Jehovah's Witnesses in the way you would any minority group, or is it a separate community of witnesses based in a centered physical location? So it would depend on what context it is used in, but generally speaking, the Jehovah's Witnesses consider themselves separate from society for things such as politics, legal or government work, and this includes not voting. But they obviously still must live within normal social communities. So I would assume the context would be talking about doing the good work in the community, or a phrase similar. This would be referring to the community at large in which they reside, where each congregation of witnesses will have different maps and areas to cover in their door-to-door field service. Field service being their more official way to describe the door-to-door and cart preaching work that they do. So in this context, the community would refer to their local area, suburb or city, and all the prospective witnesses residing within. Generally, when a witness refers to the community of fellow witnesses, they might say the brothers, or brothers and sisters, or an elder talking to the congregation on the podium would speak of them as those in the truth, or again, brothers and sisters of the truth. The truth is a common word used to denote their unique faith in their eyes, separating themselves from other Christian faiths in as many ways as they can, but can be a subliminal red flag when not used properly. Words are very, very picky things for the witnesses, as hopefully I will one day get to my video on their choice of words and what the purposes of it all is. But another time. In short, they would be unlikely to refer to themselves as a community, but instead as a family of brothers and sisters. But they won't use the word family often in speech either. The community is the normal community they live within, along with non-witnesses alike. Next question, are JWs required to live in or near a single location from the start, or is it more like Scientology where it is dependent on your level of commitment and status? Witnesses do have a national headquarters called Bethel in each country which they preach. The worldwide headquarters is the US Bethel, formerly in Brooklyn. These are places much like Scientology's learning centers or whatever in America, where the higher level, or in their case the bigger pocketed, will be offered access to go and work there. As far as I know, there's no requirement to pay money or anything like that to the organization to become a Bethelite. It's more a life commitment. This isn't a requirement of witnesses, but it's something that if you take your good work seriously enough, which you should be or you will have blood guilt, you will aspire towards having the opportunity to become a Bethelite and slave for the publication company known as the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York, even if you live in sunny Australia. Here you would go to our National Bethel in Sydney and work there. So there is a community, you might call it, of witnesses who moved from where they lived into the Bethel complexes all around the world, giving up quite literally everything that they have known, but they would call themselves Bethelites. You really need to prove yourself as a witness in the field work, become an elder, do pioneering, do everything that there is to do to show you have already committed your life to the Watchtower, to Jehovah, so that they can take you and enslave you unquestioningly. Okay, next question. What type of rules and expectations do you face when becoming a witness, and are there any benefits to becoming a witness? I want to make this absolutely clear to anyone who is not sure. There is absolutely nothing you will, or even possibly can, get out of that organization which you cannot find via something based in reality. You want hope for the future? Work towards it. You want to find happiness? It is out there, but not being preached to you by any Bible basher, let alone a book publication company. Since when would anyone put their hope for a second life in the Puffin Book Company? They are a brainwashing cult who use fear, pain, loss, and all forms of human suffering to propagate their messages of joy at the notion of the entire population of the world being fucking slaughtered. No, there is nothing beneficial about becoming a Jehovah's Witness. At all. Nil. Zip. Fuck all, mate. I hope I made that clear. They are a controlled group through mental manipulation and emotional blackmail. Their rules are extraordinary and designed to keep each member, new and old, strictly walking the path that the Watchtower organization dictates. Most of the standard Christian rules would apply, but they are far more extreme. So I won't go over all the fun things that is common in Christianity. Instead, I'll try and point out the stupid things that seem extreme and particular enough for witnesses. Field service and attending every meeting is mandatory to maintain standing. No tight clothes or skin-fitting outfits of any kind. Modesty at all times, but also, especially for the guys, you don't want people to think that you're one of those worldly gays walking around in tight pants, or worse yet, turn on those worldly gays and confuse your brothers and sisters into thinking that you too are a worldly gay. Yes, this is what the Watchtower organization and thus Jehovah's Witnesses stand by. Even as adults, your media content is advised to be limited, and you can be punished if you are found engaging with the wrong sites online. The Watchtower organization have people going through sites which they aren't meant to be on, looking for witnesses, abusing their internet rights, and ex-witnesses like me who are speaking out. One of which is my mate Witness No More, who is facing legal issues for his work speaking out against the witnesses, and they have caught up to him and are trying to bring down charges of fucking blasphemy, basically. They are claiming it to be defamation. But it ain't fucking defamation if it's the goddamn truth. Unfortunately, the Watchtower organization still has plenty of money to put into their legal defense, and they have a good reputation with most authorities as they portray themselves so successfully as the victims. But it should be perfectly fucking obvious that they are not. So I know this is a bit of a tangent, but if you're in the UK area and you think that you may be able to help a former brother out, please contact Witness No More. His links will be below. Sub to him, become a Patreon if he has one. Just anything that you can do to help would be amazing. Ultimately, we can't allow this cult juggernaut to drag an honest man through the dirt and leave his life with an unjust legal history simply because of the truth that he discusses with us. So tangent over. Make sure to sub Witness No More. He's fantastic, and I hope he can find some help. Back to the topic, the expectations are really high when you become a witness, and they only get higher the further you go. They might have changed by now, but an unbaptized publisher used to be required to do at least 10 hours of field service each month, mark down every house call, which is each house that they knock on and who they met, about the person, if they feel successful, to follow up or do a return to their door. So a follow-up, I should say, would be if the homeowner is receptive and wishes to learn more on the topic or the Bible in general, the witness will go away, plan their next witness for that call personally, and then they'll return the next time for a more comprehensive look at the topic at hand. Normal return call would usually mean that the homeowner seemed receptive but didn't have time, they weren't home, or they were home and you turned them down, but not in a way which proved a lot of conviction. It doesn't mean you need to be angry, it just means you need to use the right words. Unfortunately, the witnesses are quite good at taking any words and using the most obscure definitions to suit their needs. So tell them kindly but firmly that you are not interested in what they are offering, and that you do not wish them to return to your door again. Specifically, say the words, "Please put me on the do not call list." If they are a genuine witness, they will oblige you, and you're not likely to see them again for at least a little while. Every now and then, the witnesses change their field maps, and so a new set of witnesses from a different congregation even may come to your door. But simply rinse and repeat, and always do it with kindness. They are not there to annoy you, They are not trying to be aggravating. A lot of the time, they are very sweet people, some of them shy or with social issues, and they don't really want to be there any more than you want them there. But they do it because their brain is messed up by this organization to believe that their heart is telling them that this is the right thing to do, that they are trying to save you, that if they don't, they themselves will prove unworthy in Jehovah's eyes. It is stupid, but when you take the brain away from the person, they can only be led by their heart. Be kind to them and ask to be put on their do not call list and let them leave in peace. Or not, it is your call, but personally, I'm not a fan of further victimizing the victims. Okay, I might have to move on to the next question now, as we're starting to run out of time for this one. So if you want to hear more on what Jehovah asks and the loving privileges that Jehovah has offered us, I would be more than happy returning for a follow-up Bible study where we can look at that in more detail and show you where Jesus stood on this. How does Saturday morning sound to you? That felt really weird. I'm going to go to the next question now before I throw up. You mentioned that brothers could attempt to move up the chain of command, so to speak. Can sisters do so as well? If a woman said she was one of God's chosen, would she be accepted in as long as none of the others had an issue with her? Or is it more of a no penis, no admittance type club? I kept the wording of this exactly as written, as it has such a good point to the end. I'm sure I could come up with some big jokes right now, but my brain is still recovering from going all J-dub just before. A sister can be baptized, of course, and they can also do pioneering work, which is the more full-time expected hours of field study or field service. They cannot, however, become leaders of the congregation. Elders can only be brothers, as any other leadership role such as overseers or members of the governing body. Sisters are in no way treated bad generally speaking, but there is a very strong whiff of not just Christian patriarchy, but obvious prejudice towards women within the organization and its doctrines. Another point of contention here is the requirement of sisters to wear a headdress or covering if they lead a group in prayer, where there are any other unbaptized brothers or male non-witness family or whatever it might be. If there is a baptized brother present, they must take the lead in prayer, the baptized brother. However, they do find an exception if, say, it is a baptized mother and baptized son, and the mother feels that the son is not prepared to take on such a leadership role, as JWs do allow very young baptisms. The mother may hold on to that role of prayer so long as she dons a head covering to show her submission to man. I'll add a link below for an article from the Watchtower on this topic of head coverings. It's deplorable, to say the least. Well, I hope that answered some questions that you may have had, but if anyone wants to shoot me more cues, just drop them down below and I'll make a third sometime. I have been doing a lot of new things lately, hanging out and harassing some of the better YouTube channels out there and kind of trolling everybody's chats. So I've been a bit slack on the content in the last week, but it's not for naught, as I have a lot of awesome things planned for the next few weeks with a whole lot of awesome people, so expect more to come. Make sure to leave any of your thoughts in the comments section below. If you agree, disagree, or you want to correct me, feel free. Plus, if you have any other topics you want me to cover or dig deeper into, leave your suggestions down there too. I am on the Facebook and the Twitter machine at NotJah Witness if you wanted to hit me up there with your questions also. And if you'd like to see more on the JWs or other religious beliefs, as I do what I can to expose and refute them where I can, please hit that like button and subscribe. I love every single one of you who do. I have been meaning to send a shout out to all of you for helping me make it to 200 subs and hopefully one day hitting that elusive first K. That'll be exciting. I know, I'm dreaming. Well anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful day. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, I'm NotJah Witness.
All I wanna do is live!